Hello, my loves. Welcome to the, I think, ninth episode of Soy Now. I'm back in T-Town, better known as Torrance. Right now, I'm parked along the street at Torrance Beach. I love Torrance Beach. Starting in high school is like when I would use this place as a little getaway. I'd always come here whenever I needed to be alone or if I just needed a breather. So since I'm back at home, I figured I'd talk about an insecurity that becomes more apparent when I am here, and that insecurity pops up into my head as a question, and that question would be, am I as grown up as I think I am? Something that I've learned as I continue meeting people and getting to know them, familial dynamics are complicated more oftentimes than not, and that's not something that you know about a person just right off the bat. That statement would hold true for me because things back at home are kind of complicated. Back in San Diego, I have my house, I have my friends, I have my job, school, and APSA. I have a lot of things to be focusing on, and honestly, I use those commitments as an excuse not to come home very often. In San Diego, I've established independence, and I know how to be productive and make good use of my time. Because of that, I have found success in small ways, but in more ways than one. So it's really natural for me to just want to be in San Diego. But whenever I come back home for the holidays, I feel like a phony because all the emotions that I prefer to leave untouched and unprocessed are just staring me in the face, and I don't know what to do. This feeling of helplessness that I always have whenever I come back to Torrance, it just makes me feel small. It makes me feel like how I did back in high school, like the little girl who was always hurt by the things happening around her. Even though I allow myself to think that I am an adult and I know what I'm doing with my life, it's I realize that's not true when I come back to Torrance because I am still very immature emotionally speaking, and I have a lot of room for growth when it comes to my roles that I have here, as a family member, as a daughter, and as a sister. I'm used to being looked at as someone who, I don't know if I'm interpreted as mature, but I feel as though people think that, I don't know, people think I'm mature or I have my shiz together. I feel like I don't. Obviously that'll segue into insecurities because it's just whole imposter syndrome type stuff. Do I deserve to be seen in the light that I am seen in? With all the stuff happening back at home, I always tell myself oh, it's nothing I can't handle. But when I do find myself back at home, I realize that I haven't really been handling anything. I convinced myself that me being able to continue on with my life and my responsibilities is me coping, but it's me ignoring it all. When I leave all the processing and reflection I need to do for when I am back at home surrounded by my family, it just doesn't make for a healthy process for me, I think, because then I'm kind of I'm angry and I'm a little angsty, in the sense I talk back to my parents and I'm subconsciously trying to prove to them that I am grown up. But I would guess this insecurity for me is about I just so desperately want to be able to move on from everything that has happened, but things continue happening. Then just when new developments come about, it's just I question myself, and I ask have I changed? Have I become more emotionally strong? I thought this would be a good insecurity to talk about because sometimes I feel I'm the only person who comes back home to a dysfunctional family, but I feel a lot of the times families, or a quote-unquote functional family, is non-existent. So it's hard to deal with the emotions that come with being a part of a dysfunctional family. So if there are any of y'all who find yourself, I wouldn't say similar positions because every story is different, but if y'all find yourself in the same predicament of not being able or not knowing how to process and unpack your feelings, maybe we can figure it out together.